Hello, welcome to Creativity Released. We're live here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So today I'm talking about being worn out. Okay, are you worn out from doing it all? You know, you're sorting out the kids, you're doing the caregiving, perhaps you're caregiving for elderly parents, and you're trying to run a business or whatever, trying to run the home, trying to do your job, juggling, constant juggling. And have you lost yourself in the process along the way? So I get it because I've been there myself. Let me just tell you a story about what broke me. So this is my story of burnout and the turning point. So the last time I felt completely burnt out, I was trying to juggle my private practice as a speech therapist. And I had this really lucrative contract. I had to go onto the mainland and see these clients. And at the same time, a close family member was facing severe mental health issues, had attempted suicide several times. And I was having to be his advocate. And he was actually in the psychiatric ward at the time when I was going on to the mainland. And, at the same time, I had a teenage son who was trying to do his A-levels. And I was constantly distracted. I was thinking, I don't feel like a good enough mum. I don't feel like a good enough speech therapist or a good wife. And, there was all these expectations. And I remember sitting in the cafe before I went to see this client, and I was calling my manager, the contract manager, and I was saying, I can't do this anymore. Something had to give. It broke me, sort of like being pulled in all these directions. And it broke me also because I'd been a speech therapist for over 30 years. It's what it was, I'd been giving and I knew what to do. I knew I had something to give. But what did burnout look like? Burnout, emotionally, I was drained. And I just remember thinking, I'm drained physically, I'm really tired because I'm not sleeping well. And spiritually, I just feel so far away from God. So my Bible stayed shut, my prayers were dry, and I wasn't just running on empty. My jar was broken. And then something really beautiful happened. I picked up a pencil and I started sketching. There was no plan. There was no, really there was no performance, just movement. Okay. And the Bible verses came to me and I wrote to God and I just said, what am I meant to do now? And I remember how he just said, rest. And I didn't need to do more. I needed to stop, breathe, and just rest in his presence. So if you're watching this and feel like you've lost yourself, I want you to know you are not alone. We all have the same 24 hours, okay, and constantly pouring into others without refilling ourselves. And it's just not sustainable. And it's not spiritual either. So even 15 minutes, if you had 15 minutes a day to sit, doodle, and to say, God, what do I do now? Even those 15 minutes matter. So these are the 3 creative practices that help me reset with God. And I want to share them with you now. The first one is to write your heart. Write with your heart. When you are journaling, just be raw with God, unedited, telling the truth. And God doesn't need the perfection. He knows exactly what's in your heart anyway, but he just so longs for you to come and tell him. So he wants that connection. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to draw and do some verses. It doesn't, as you can see here, my drawing of hand doesn't look perfect, but it doesn't need to be perfect. It's just a letter that I'm writing. It's just some sketches I'm doing. And so just draw. And I invite you to write some verses. One of the verses that came to me is that I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope in the future. And when I thought about that verse, I thought, oh gosh, he really cares about every single part of me. Yes, he knows the number of hairs on my head, and he knew me whilst I was being knitted in my mother's womb. He knew everything about me, even before I was born, and he had plans for me, and he still has plans for me. And that's amazing. Even in the middle of it all, in the chaos, God's plan includes hope. So write those verses, and just have fun. So the third thing I want you to think about is to use the 7-day creative reset journal. And this is the journal. I don't know if you can see it very well here. And I have bound it, as you can see. But I've left the link down in the description. And it's totally free, and it's just for 7 days. And you can find Bible verses, you can find journaling prompts, and you can find the creative exercises. So I was using this, and as you can see by this little video that I'm sharing here, I was using it to do my doodling. And at the beginning it said, "Let there be light." I'm going to read it, what it says. And then it just asks the question, where do you need God's light to shine? So there's a little space for writing that. And then there's a creative idea. Use yellow tones, add words in a collage if you want. So you can grab it at christianartjournaling.com/peace. And you will see that in the description down below. So those are the 3 things I want you to do, 3 creative practices. First of all, journaling, writing letters to God. And then number 2, drawing, sketching, doodling, and verses together. As you can see, my painting here is not perfect. I should have probably done the painting first and then the lettering over the top, but I did it the other way around, and it doesn't matter. It's just time with God. So, why does creativity matter? I want you to think about that, because God is the creator, and the very first thing he did was when he was creating each one, when creating the sky and the sea and the animals, he said, "It is good." Okay, after each day he said, "It's good." And when he created us, he said, "It is very good." So every time we create, even in the messy, imperfect doodles, we're echoing his heart, and he speaks through that. So I just want you to remember that you are not alone. Okay, you are not forgotten, you are not failing, and you are being called back to rest, back to joy, back to God. So don't forget, I've left the link of the free 7-day creative reset journal. There it is, that you can find down in the description. And while you're at it, please subscribe to this channel if you're watching on YouTube. and stay connected. I hope this session has blessed you. Take care. God bless.